The King's Avatar, Chapter 1324 Trade, Audio Source, WuxaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1324, Trade. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Happy had a 2-0 lead, which worried Ruin Cheng. The entire Glory community knew that he didn't like Happy. If Happy were against some weak team, he definitely wouldn't have accepted the invitation for this event. But seeing that Happy would be playing an away game against Tiny Herb, Ruin Cheng felt like Happy would certainly lose, which was why he gladly ran over to slap their faces. Things weren't looking good, though. He could tolerate Yi Xiu's win streak continuing, but a small-time figure like Qiao Yivan beating Tiny Herb's genius, Gao Yingji, Pan Lin and Li Yibo were discussing this round with great enthusiasm. Ruin Cheng listened unhappily on the side. "I'm not going to sit here and get slapped in the face, am I?" Ruin Cheng felt a bad premonition. Qiao Yifan's victory over Gao Yingji made him uneasy. The third players of the individual competence stepped onto the stage. Happy's Mo Fan, Ninja Deception. Tiny Herb, Liang Fang, Berserker Black Bamboo. Seeing the matchup, Ruin Cheng felt his heart freeze. After Mo Fan beat Samsara Sun Xiang, the attention towards him grew. Happy had also given him more opportunities to go on stage, even so far as to include him in team competence. His skill had received the approval of the community. It was just that people didn't understand his hit-and-run play style. In this match, Mo Fan's opponent was Liang Fang, a very impatient player. Mo Fan's hit-and-run playstyle was a disaster for this sort of player. A 3-0. Ruin Cheng didn't even want to watch anymore. Pan Lin and Li Yibo were analyzing their playstyles though and just had to ask him his opinion. Ruin Cheng replied spiritlessly. Liang Fang needs to firmly hold the initiative for this match. This is the only way can he restrict Mo Fan's playstyle. There was some reasoning to his logic, but it was mostly just empty talk. Who wouldn't be trying their hardest to take the initiative? Whoever held the initiative had an easier chance of winning. Who needs someone to tell them that? The match began. Liang Fang headed straight towards the center of the map, while Mo Fan moved strategically. The map Tiny Herb chose wasn't simple, but it wasn't overly complex either. Moving strategically could be done, but when Deception circled around to the center, Mo Fan found that there weren't too many places to mount sneak attacks. As for Liang Fang's Black Bamboo, his line of sight was directly towards that side. Having chosen this map, he knew beforehand what places Mo Fan could possibly come out from. Mo Fan didn't lack patience, but in this situation, patience would just lead to a yellow card. As a result, this time, Mo Fan happily had Deception walk out. Without saying a word, he attacked. Mo Fan was direct enough, but Liang Fang was faster. He had been paying close attention to those few spots, certain that Deception could only come from there. As soon as he saw Deception come out, he released his readied attack. Crimson Storm. Liang Fang opened up with a level 70 skill, quite a shocking move. Mo Fan was a bit surprised that his opponent would be so bold. He immediately tried to dodge, but the surging force just barely hit him. Shuriken. Deception attacked, throwing a shuriken towards Black Bamboo. This Crimson Storm carried incomparable force, and its ending lag was just as formidable. When the shuriken came, Black Bamboo could not move and could only take the attack. Then, Deception closed in. Backward slash. Right when the ending lag finished, Black Bamboo used a knock-up skill towards Deception. Deception nimbly leaped back and dodged it. Flame cut. Flames came down facing the wind. Who would have thought that Black Bamboo wouldn't dodge though? Instead, he brandished his sword and let out a wild blood strike. This attack didn't collide with Flame Cut. It went straight for deception. Trade. Everyone who thought of this word felt dumbfounded. Trading was a common berserker strategy, but no one ever traded at the start of a match. This was because the effects of Blood Awakening didn't trigger until the user was below 50% health. The initial 50% health was no different for berserkers, so it was usually used to get a feel for the opponent's playstyle and condition. Once their health reached 50%, Blood Awakening would activate, and then trading became a good choice. However, trading from the very start was rarely seen. Liang Fang wasn't trading for nothing though. He was trading blows. However, recklessly burning several high-level skills in a row was truly a bit crazy. The attacks from each player hit their targets. Black Bamboo ignited into a flame man, while Deception was sent tumbling from the heavy blow. Again. As soon as his feet touched the ground, Deception straightened up and started advancing again. But the opposing Black Bamboo didn't even wait for the fire to extinguish. Half his body was still on fire as he also twisted that way and charged forward. Dong. This time, their weapons clashed, and the one to guard was Deception. Liang Fang wanted to trade damage, but Mo Fan didn't comply. It wasn't smart to keep up with a berserker's frenzy. Once a berserker reached a certain point, he would gain buffs. As a result, trading with a berserker should only be done if he could gain an advantage from it. It couldn't be looked at purely in terms of numbers. However, Liang Fang refused to let go and followed up with attack after attack. He let go of all defenses and traded. He didn't dodge any of Deception's attacks and ate every single attack. Liang Fang's playstyle. Li Yibo was a bit shocked. Liang Fang's playstyle seemed somewhat excessive. But the problem was that it was extremely effective against Mo Fan. Every move he did was a trade. No matter if Mo Fan retreated or attacked, his plans were always interrupted. His hit-and-run tactics couldn't be displayed properly. Liang Fang was using this sort of rough and crude method to entangle Mo Fan. They fought, and while it didn't seem like Liang Fang was garnering any advantages, Mo Fan wasn't able to get into his own tempo. Liang Fang is playing well today. Ruin Cheng's spirit suddenly shot up. Initiative? His words had actually been spot on. Right now, Liang Fang firmly held the initiative in this 1v1. Any attack Mo Fan made would end up as a trade to the extent that sometimes, Liang Fang would be on the losing end. Even so, he still held the initiative. Mo Fan could only slightly win the trade, but his tempo, his tactics, he couldn't display them at all. Tiny Herb has done a lot of targeted research on Mo Fan. Ye Zhu commented from the sidelines. Liang Fang's unbridled playstyle wasn't because of his berserker class. Tiny Herb had probably prepared this playstyle specifically to counter Mo Fan. Berserkers could trade and so could other classes, but Mo Fan could not. As soon as he traded, his most threatening three axes could not be displayed. He's being suppressed, Wei Chen said. It looks like there's nothing that can be done. Fang Rui said. The difference in health between the two sides could clearly be seen. In terms of the numbers, Mo Fan had the advantage. After all, Liang Fang was recklessly trading away his health. However, everyone knew that Liang Fang held the initiative. The extra trickles of health lost in each trade weren't trading for Deception's health, but rather his tempo. Kill. WuxaWorldAudio.com. Liang Fang roared in the chat. The more he fought, the more spirited he became. The more spirited he became, the crazier he fought. His attacks became even faster and even more swift, biting onto Deception even more tightly. Colliding Stab. Liang Fang had Black Bamboo use Colliding Stab. Unable to avoid it, Mo Fan would usually try and use a strong attack to trade, but this time, Puff. A puff of smoke. Black Bamboo's great sword had hit a substitute's strawman. Substitution technique. He ran. Liang Fang was a bit startled. Before, when they had been trading blows, Mo Fan had never forced an escape. But after retreating, he returned. Deception rushed forward. Liang Fang regained his composure and readied to trade blows, even if it would be a losing trade. Puff, puff. The sounds of attacks landing were crisp and clear. This time, the trade was completed in a straightforward manner. Again, Liang Fang was having fun, and started talking more in the chat. Ha, he's playing so confidently. Ruin Cheng was in a good mood. But after the trade, Deception stopped tangling with Black Bamboo and chose to retreat. Where are you going? Liang Fang was surprised. He immediately readjusted his offense. When he rushed forward, Mo Fan suddenly turned back to receive his attacks. Attack. Another trade. Deception once again ran away. Liang Fang was furious. It was a trade anyways. Running away and then coming back, was that really necessary? He didn't understand, so he continued implementing his original strategy. But Mo Fan had thoroughly changed up his plans. His three axes were being suppressed by this crazy trading, so he either attacked then ran without attacking, or went all out on the offensive without running. What type of playstyle is this? This Mo Fan really loved this sort of hit-and-run playstyle, huh? Was it possible for him not to be so patient? The audience sighed. However, the pro players on the sidelines could see the purpose behind Mo Fan's repeated tussling. Nice. Quote. After seeing a completed trade, Fang Rui nodded his head in approval. Has that idiot Liang Fang still not figured it out yet? It should be soon. Yishu smiled. Yes, he figured it out. It wasn't just Liang Fang, but the viewers who were paying close attention to the match had also begun to notice it. After Mo Fan switched up his tactics, the disparity between the two characters' health bars was growing larger and larger. Was it because of Liang Fang's unbridled trading? Of course, that was one reason, but more importantly, Mo Fan had started making meticulous calculations. Every time he traded, he would carefully think it through. Can I gain an advantage? Is the advantage gained significant enough? If the answers to those questions weren't satisfactory, or he simply didn't know, he would immediately turn tail and run. This was why Deception would sometimes run away and not make the trade. If Liang Fang continues trading like this, he'll trade himself to his death. Li Yibo chuckled. He probably won't dare to keep trading now, will he? Pan Lin said. Then how will he stop Mo Fan? Li Yibo said. The answer was that he couldn't stop Mo Fan. End chapter. The King's Avatar. Chapter 1325. Fluctuating APM. Audio source. wuxia-world-audiobook.com. Chapter 1325. Fluctuating APM. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. One skill, one step back. In the end, Mo Fan ended up setting this repetitive rhythm. Liang Fang's reckless health trade immediately became out of sync. By the time he realized this, he had already traded his health away for a disadvantage. He lost. In the individual competition, Happy ended with a 3-0. The entire stadium was speechless. Happy's performing well today. Li Yibo commented. Do they plan on obtaining another perfect victory? Pan Lin wondered. Ruin Cheng heart-thumped. If Happy really did destroy Tiny Herb in their away game, then it'd be like they had thrown him here naked. He'd be completely humiliated. What the hell are you bastards doing? Ruin Cheng was even more desperate and worried than Tiny Herb's boss. Su Mucheng didn't go up for the individual competitors this round. Has Happy left her for the group arena? Li Yibo said. Fang Rui, Su Mucheng, Tang Ro. Happy's group arena lineup is very impressive this round. Pan Lin commented. In the 8th round, Happy's Tang Rou alone managed to wipe out 2 of Tiny Herb's members in the group arena and get to Wang Jiexi. Li Yibo reminded him, "It's just unfortunate that the 2 players after Tang Rou didn't perform so well and were all defeated by Wang Jiexi in a 1v3 that turned the tides." However, it was after that round that Tang Rou stopped spearheading the group arena and switched to 3rd position, Pan Lin lamented. With that, the 2 side-eyed Ruin Cheng together. Yet, when Ruin Cheng had heard the 2 say that Happy had an unusually impressive lineup, his insides clenched. He didn't even register the discussion the 2 had afterwards. "You think they'll have Tang Rou spearhead again?" In the end, Ruin Cheng only heard that before the players for the group arena entered the stage. Happy, Fang Rui, Su Mucheng, Tang Rou, as expected, an impressive lineup. As for Tiny Herbiem, they sent out Lu Xiaobi, Lu Fei, and Wang Jiexi. Seems like Tang Rou still isn't spearheading the round. Pan Lin exclaimed. Yeah. Fang Rui leading and Tang Rou bringing up the rear. Happy hasn't changed that arrangement in a long time, Li Yibo noted. The match is about to start, let's see how the players perform, Pan Lin announced. At the same time, the first player in each team were inserting their cards and loading into the first round of the match. This map. It's a pretty rare sight in the group arena, the commentator and guests discussed upon seeing the map. The map Tiny Herb had chosen for their group arena was the same kind that Yi Shu had set as his signature map choice this season, straight and simple. This kind of map often implied a test of mechanical skill. For individual matches, the maps could be chosen according to personal preference. However, in the group arena, there would be 3 people per team, and you need to make sure that all 3 were comfortable with the map, thus, the map choice was rarely so extreme. Generally, maps with more varied content that could be useful in different situations would be chosen. This map choice. It'll probably negatively impact Happy's Fang Rui and Su Mucheng, but Tang Rou clearly prefers this sort of map, Li Yibo noted. As for Tiny Herb, what do you think, Mr. Ruin? Feeling that Ruin Cheng had gone silent for long enough, Li Yibo threw him a question helpfully. I guess they'll be alright since they're Tiny Herb. Ruin Cheng guessed. What on earth was he saying? Li Yibo stared in shock and glanced at Pan Lin. Pan Lin seemed rather helpless as well. This Ruin Cheng really didn't have much mental fortitude. No matter if you're a fan or a hater, you should at least work hard to support your side. Even if it's complete bullshit, that's better than this utterly defeated look after a 3-0. Li Yibo and Pan Lin could only leave Ruin Cheng with his answer that wasn't really an answer. On the field, due to the simple map, the 2 sides soon met and clashed in an open fight. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Flying Sword's sword was as fast as lightning. Lu Xiaobi was feeling rather depressed this season. He had wanted to become an all-star this season through his ceaseless hard work and improvement. Yet, Happy and excellent Era's players had returned and the competition for this season's All-Stars was much tighter all of a sudden. Unfortunately, Lu Xiaobi once again wasn't voted in. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Lu Xiaobi vented his frustrations through his mechanics. Flying Sword's attacks were swift and his pacing was solid. This level of skill was definitely enough to be considered all-star level. It was unfortunate that the all-star voting wasn't just about skill. On the other side, Fang Rui was in a very different position from Lu Xiaobi. Lu Xiaobi was just unable to become an All-Stars, and he, on the other hand, had been consecutively voted into the All-Stars, only to fail this season. He also made light of this failure, expressing to the media that he always got in, so it was pretty good that he had finally managed to drop out. That sort of attitude was just asking for a beating to Lucio B. Many others also thought Fang Rui was unreasonable. It was probably a little of both, but Fang Rui's performance really hadn't been affected by any of it. His performance had improved slowly as he got more used to the Chi Master, and his opponents, because of his chosen playstyle, often were unable to keep up. However, Lucio B didn't fall into this disadvantage because he took the initiative to attack as soon as possible. His hand was speed rising dramatically. Thus, the match progressed a little like Liang Fang and Mo Fan's match, both sides attacking fiercely and trying to prevent the other from using their preferred style. However, compared to Liang Fang exchanging blows and blood, Lucio B had less to worry about with his offensive. For Liang Fang, he was also trading blood to win, and his defeat was because of it, too. "This kid's mechanics is getting crazier and crazier," Wei Chen exclaimed with a hint of envy, observing the way Lucio B was displaying his hand speed. "The point is that he isn't just fast, but also very steady. He has everything in his grasp," Ye Xiu added. "Fang Rui's met trouble this time," Wei Chen noted. "Yes, this isn't a good terrain for him," Ye Xiu commented. Ye Xiu had used this kind of terrain to bully quite a few opponents himself, so he naturally understood what sort of foundation Lucio B's advantage was built upon. He also knew that it was because there was nothing that could be used on the map, thus Lucio B's rhythm would be very hard to break. Perhaps he could find some openings in Flying Sword's attack, but Lucio B's mechanics were just too fast, so fast that these opens flashed by. When his opponent wanted to use them, they were already gone. The only thing you couldn't counter was speed. In regards to Lucio B, this phrase was rather fitting. His APM is almost reaching 400. The live broadcast gave a shot of Lucio B's APM data. Since the match was still ongoing, his mechanics were still ongoing, and thus the number wasn't stable, fluctuating at just under 400. The system data wasn't smart enough to differentiate between effective APM and random keyboard mashing. But considering the situation on the field right now, there was little possibility for such noob mechanics to exist. Most, if not all, were effective. For a single-player game, even if Glory's mechanics were a little more complicated, an APM heading directly for 400 was still stunning. When the audience at the stadium noticed this data, sounds of awe rose from the crowd, and these voices were filled with pride. Lucio B was a player on their team, Tiny Herb. For comparison, Fang Rui's APM data was quickly placed next to Lucio B's. 289, 290, 291. The number kept rising. Fang Rui's APM is much faster than usual, too. WuxaWorldAudio.com. Pan Lin said, holding Fang Rui's previous match statistics. Of course, if he doesn't raise his hand speed under this sort of situation, he'd probably have been wiped out quickly, Li Yiba commented. However, there's still a 100 APM difference. Ruin Cheng followed up. Fuck. Pan Lin and Li Yibo cursed to themselves simultaneously, glancing at Ruin Cheng. Was this still that dispirited Ruin Cheng from after the individual matches? This kind of energy. Was Lucio B a cleric or something? Had his near 400 APM healed this guy or something? Their hand speed has a gap, looking at the statistics, but from the situation, Fang Rui isn't at much of a disadvantage, Li Yibo noted. Hey, he's not at much of a disadvantage, but he's still at one. Ruin Cheng retorted. Fang Rui's current APM isn't his peak. Pan Lin added, looking through Fang Rui's info. His current APM is very steady. Li Yibo observed the APM stats on the screen. APM was calculated by the minute, but what was usually shown in a match was calculated by the second. It showed what the mechanics done in this second would be if maintained for a minute. Fang Rui's APM was fluctuating at around 290, which meant that his hand speed was very steady. If given the chance, he'll give himself a burst of speed. Li Yibo said. What about Liu Xiaobi? Is this his peak? Ruin Cheng smirked. He was, in the end, an expert, and wasn't ignorant. Pan Lin naturally also had Liu Xiaobi's match statistics and, after taking a look, shook his head. It's not. But, not all of his actions are effective. A lot of these statistics came from him making a bunch of useless actions at the beginning of a match to drive his APM up. Li Yibo was carefully watching the match. Chance. Fang Rui was waiting for a chance. Waiting for a chance where he could strike and break Liu Xiaobi's rhythm. Otherwise, if this continued, he would lose. When would a chance appear? Li Yibo couldn't be bothered to discuss with the other two. The pace of the match was so fast, so this chance would only appear for a mere moment. There. Li Yibo's eyes lit up. Cha. He only managed to get out the first half of the word because his speech wasn't nearly as fast as the two players on the stage. The APM statistics skyrocketed. Fang Rui, 372. This was his chance to turn the tables. However, he failed. Just as Fang Rui's hand speed rocketed, Liu Xiaobi's APM also rose alongside it. 442. The peak APM of the match finally appeared. Liu Xiaobi used his immense hand speed to crush Fang Rui's defense. In the end, the first match of the group arena went to Tiny Herb's Liu Xiaobi. Noyumitien comes from the saying, it means that all forms of martial arts have their weaknesses, only reaction and attack speed cannot be counted. End chapter. The King's Avatar. Chapter 1326. Fly Forth. Audio source, wuxia-world-audiobook.com. Chapter 1326. Fly Forth. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. What an intense match. Victory had been decided and Tiny Herb's stadium was naturally filled with applause. Pan Lin and Li Yibo were discussing excitedly and Ruin Cheng's smile filled his face. Liu Xiaobi won and Flying Swords still had 52% of his health left. Tiny Herb had established a good lead in the group arena and Ruin Cheng was, naturally, delighted. In that moment, he seemed like a hopeless Tiny Herb fan. Liu Xiaobi's performance this round was amazing. Li Yibo commented. He managed such a stable performance under this continuous high hand speed, making no major mistakes. Truly impressive. Indeed, his grasp over this techniques has become more and more solid. Pan Lin noted. Let's see how he performs this next round. Li Yibo said. Hey, Ruin Cheng started laughing dryly again. Like a noob, he childishly started doing calculations in his head. 48% of health to take out Fang Rui, still 52% left. He totally still had a chance to defeat Su Mucheng. Then, there was still Wang Gxe for Tiny Herb. Tangro 2v1. It was clear that Tiny Herb would win the group arena. However, reality soon gave him a harsh awakening. Seems like Liu Xiaobi really exhausted himself last round. Li Yibo observed watching the match. Yeah, he's clearly making more mistakes. Pan Lin added. And no matter how powerful his offensives can be with that hand speed of his, he has to be able to close in on his opponent first. Li Yibo brought up. Su Mucheng is very carefully not giving him such a chance and even sacrificed a lot of damage for it, Pan Lin said. Yes. She's using a very clever playstyle. However, isn't she a little too careful? There's no chance of Liu Xiaobi replicating what he had managed yesterday. Perhaps Su Muchung can play a little more offensively. What do you think, Mr. Ruin? Li Yibo realized that Ruin Cheng had stopped speaking again. Fucking useless. Ruin Cheng was cursing Lu Xiaobi in his heart. The possibility of defeating Su Muchung's dancing rain with 52% of his health was rapidly approaching zero. Not only that, but Lu Xiaobi hadn't managed to find a single chance to close in on Su Muchung. Ruin Cheng really was worried that he'd be wiped out without even dealing 1% damage. Good thing was, Lu Xiaobi hadn't lost that badly. In the end, he still found a chance to close in. However, 10%. That was how much health Flying Swords ended up taking from Su Muchung. Ruin Cheng's lips were trembling. He wanted to start cussing up a storm in this widely live-streamed broadcast. Tiny Herb had started out well, but they didn't manage to maintain the advantage they had gained. Pan Lin exclaimed. Lu Xiaobi might have done better in the second position with such a Dre playstyle. Li Yibo suggested. Mr. Ruin. Alright, let's continue to observe the match. Pan Lin had wanted to ask after Ruin Cheng's opinion, but seeing how he was barely holding back his anger, he was afraid that the other would pull the quality of the entire program down with his answer. Tiny Herb's second player, Lu Fei, came on stage. She was another female sharpshooter player, ID Tassel Flower. They were both female pros, both gunner players, but Lu Fei's renown was nothing compared to Su Muchung's. She wasn't even on the main roster for Tiny Herb and only had the chance to perform in rotation. In this round, she had been placed in the group arena, and had just happened to meet the number one gunner amongst female pros. Though Dancing Rain is down to 90% of her health, there is a skill gap between the two. So long as Su Muchung doesn't make any major mistakes, she should be able to win. Li Yibo, who was now uncertain about making predictions, was bold enough to make one now. It was clear that no one thought that there would be any suspense as to the result. No suspense didn't necessarily mean no surprises, though. The battle between the two female gunners was spectacular. Lu Fei was no god, not even a member of their team's main roster, but if she could manage to stay in the two-time championship team Tiny Herb, then she would definitely be rather skilled. Her performance was unusually impressive this round. Li Yibo's saying of Su Muchung being able to win so long as she didn't make any major mistakes was a bit of an exaggeration. It was good that Su Muchung didn't slap him in the face. Lu Fei performed very well, but unfortunately, she was met with an opponent that performed even better. Quote, when Li Yibo made such analysis, there was a lingering fear in his heart. If Su Muchung didn't perform better, then the tides may have turned. When Su Muchung won, Dancing Rain still had 21% of her health left. Tiny Herb had reached their third player, their last defense, their captain, Wang Jiexe. From the 52% lead they had at first, until this 21% disadvantage, Ruin Cheng had the urge to run away. However, Tiny Herb's stadium was still filled with energy. The impact that being overtaken and falling behind should have had on these fans was nowhere to be seen. It was rather strange. This atmosphere really is annoying. Chen Guo exclaimed. Oh, look at these people. They're falling behind, but as soon as Wang Jiexe appears, it's like they're fated to win or something. Chen Guo gazed over the audience in the venue, listening to their cheering. Yes, that was the feeling the current Tiny Herb gave off. It wasn't like Tiny Herb was falling behind, but that victory was already in the grasp. Everyone was wearing an expression of utmost confidence. They completely ignored their future opponents, as if they were no more than bubbles that their captain Wang Jiexe could pop with a finger. Muchung, crush him. Little Tang, crush him. Though she knew that the players in the booths couldn't hear her, Chen Guo still hollered. Su Mucheng and Tang Rou, the two girls who were on stage on Happy's side, were the two who were closest to Chen Guo. Seeing him ignored by the Tiny Herb fans like this, Chen Guo was exceptionally pissed off. It's not unreasonable that the Tiny Herb fans have such confidence. Yishu chuckled. Who cares what reason they have? Chen Guo clearly wasn't looking for logic or explanations. Yishu smiled. The match was starting and everyone turned their attention back to the screens. A simple and straightforward match naturally wouldn't have much of a build-up. The two characters advanced, the chat room empty. There was very little communication between players in today's match. Of course, there were some subjective reasons for that. For example, Fang Rui liked to trash talk, but he had been faced with Lucio B today, so there was no time to type in such an intense battle of hand speeds. In this match, Wang Jiexi and Su Mucheng didn't seem to have any intentions to chat either. The two soon met in the center of the map and Su Mucheng's Dancing Rain unhesitantly used her attack range advantage to fire the first shot. WuxaWorldAudio.com. Boom. Missiles flew. Vakaria's movement speed didn't dip at all, even riding his broom directly towards the missile. Just as it was about to impact, he swerved and the missile flew past his shoulder. The movement was smooth. Was this missile really an attempt to stop him? Can't feel it. Clap, clap, clap. The stadium burst into applause. Just a dodge and the Tiny Herb fans acted like they had seen the climax of a match. Getting excited over nothing. Chen Guo gritted her teeth. It really was rather impressive. Yishu said. Chen Guo didn't reply because that voice of truth at the bottom of her heart told her that when Vakaria narrowly dodged the missile without slowing down, she had almost abandoned her loyalties and cheered the Tiny Herb fans. A technique that can really fan their excitement. Wei Chen commented, but then added. But he wasn't just showing off. Of course he wasn't. Wang Jiex's action was simply to dodge in the quickest, easiest way. He had maintained his character's advance, so how could it be a mere party trick? Anti-tank missiles. Dancing Rain jumped backwards, launching 3 anti-tank missiles in a tri-shot formation. The 3 missiles came one after the other. Vakaria once again didn't dodge, charging right forwards. What was he going to do this time? Holy shit! Quote. As the stadium erupted into cheers, Wei Chen cursed. Vakaria had, somehow, flew forwards, spinning his body like a drill, and drilled right into the tri-shot. Then, his spin managed to narrowly pull his body out of range of each of the 3 missiles. Brilliantly fast, amazingly precise. The broadcast replayed this moment in slow motion over and over again, as if they'd rather play this than the rest of the match. He's truly skilled. Even Yishu couldn't help but praise. This was the one that had almost accomplished a consecutive 3 championships after he had made history. Vakaria charged towards Dancing Rain at top speed, seemingly unstoppable. Of course, Su Mucheng wasn't that easy of an opponent. As Vakaria advanced, Dancing Rain was naturally retreating. As she retreated, she attacked. It was just that this didn't do much to stop the other's momentum and the two were slowly getting closer. Star Ray. Vakaria finally entered a range where his witch could attack. As he flew, he began to throw out magic tools. The star ray that was formed from a star card shot forwards faster than its user. Dancing Rain dodged, and with the effect the movement had, Vakaria continued to close in. Stinger. Su Mucheng attempted to use a large AoE to stop him. Vakaria flew a level higher and darted in and out of the falling Stinger missiles, as if the explosions had nothing to do with him. However, the closer he got, the harder it was to dodge. Laser cannon. This time, Vakaria wasn't able to fully dodge the attack, and the laser cannon struck his side, causing Vakaria to spin in the air. However, it wasn't able to completely stop his advance. As he adjusted his form, Wang Jiexe took note of the way Vakaria was thrown. Even if he fell, he'd fall as close to his target as possible. God fucking shit. Wei Chen continued to curse. Though cursing wasn't a rare occurrence for him, watching Wang Jiexe's performance today, his cursing had been elevated to a frequency it had never once reached in the past. Only cursing could express his emotions, because he didn't know how else to express them. Wang Jiexe and his Vakaria flew forth carrying Tiny Herb on their shoulders and unstoppable. End chapter.